Good morning, and this one's a video really too evil, but look at the state of my red currant bush after I came back off holiday. Look at this, it's all dry and I never harvested my berries, so they're really dark. So I wonder what they taste like. I have got doo-doo hand at the moment because I've been gardening, so I'm not going to show you my hands. Quite sweet actually, not as bitter as it was this morning. Slightly sour. Anyway, my question is, because I've got my plans and I've got my things I want to do and whatnot, but I just thought I'd put this one out because it's just a question that's arisen in my mind. Because knowing what I know about evil, obviously things have surprised me. Really surprised me, the level of it today, especially because it really is just such a cliche that because they think I've gone, they ran away for a couple of days and now they're back doubling down, aren't they? Oh dear me. And oh my lord, the lying, like, it's gone beyond, hasn't it? It's gone beyond. It's like he comes up with something which you could maybe give some legitimacy to at some level, but obviously been twisted up, as you would expect, by at least by one of them doing it. Then you've got obviously Tommy facilitating the whole thing, so you've got that sort of augmenting it, and then you've got this secondary thing where Ricardo then leaps on it and then just makes something completely up about something afterwards on top of it. So it's quite a stack for each one that they put out there. It's more than, and then the reason I point it out is because it just makes it a little bit more unique to me and to my way of thinking, and it also makes it a bit more like, I don't know, more bang for your buck at some level. It's like, oh look, it's gone up a level, and obviously there's a reason for that, and that's because they think they've got away with it and they get a kicker in. But anyway, that wasn't my point. My point is it raised in me, like, I do know that there is someone inside of evil. There is someone there, right? And for this level to be going off, he must know what he's doing at some level. He must. He can't, I mean, there's the drinking and stuff, but mate, like, evil, why? How do you do it? How do you marry that up in yourself, knowing you can't be such a piece of shit? You're like, as much as Ricardo. Like, Ricardo hates all women. You heard that. I heard it the other day. Like with my one, it was again this morning, it was like a 1 second thing, and you were at it again, obviously. Me not even being here or said anything for days. And how desperate that makes you guys look to still be crying about me and now making all this stuff up. Obviously you've got a reason at this point. This is your time, innit, to try and stick all that in there. But obviously I'm going to be doing my own answers to your pathetic lies, which are just getting more and more abstract, which kind of make it harder to unpick because it's just off in la la land now. But you know, it's going to be fun to do so because it just shows with every single one how threadbare you are and just how misdirected this creativity is. Like the amount of creativity that's going into this symbiosis, this, like, you're all like feeding off each other and bouncing off each other and all this, and it just took eating me to do it. Well, like, you could actually be doing something like funny or good with it, you know, like something progressive, instead of, like, you're still going on about Lewis. Jesus Christ, guys, do you really want to be that cliche? That much of an old man shed community? Fucking hell. Anyway, again, this must be part of how you marry it up. I just don't get how the person who I knew at any level, knowing anything about what he's doing, can think that he's any sort of decent person at any level at this point, because even the quality of what you're doing, I mean, I'll give you credit for your sort of wrapping things up in wire and stuff and how you're managing to do that, but like, it's very repetitive and it does all just come off as you guys just crying about people. The same thing, like, day in, day out. Is it just that the community is just that undiscerning? I don't know, if that even is a word. But anyway, that's the question for Evil, if he deigns to answer me. But I mean, the lies that you've told about me, I think at this point are not worthy of any acknowledgement from you. I think from the way you guys have written it, I'd like to know why. I mean, I heard this one this morning about it was because you didn't like my community post, or you didn't like my comments or something, is Ricardo's latest one. That's complete fabrication, and that's only because I heard that tiny little snippet. That even in that time, it's just la la land. So anyway, I thought I'd have to do a little PS to this one actually, because I feel that there may be some comparison to be drawn with the Slotham thing with this, and in that I've thought it gives me thoughts for the way psychopaths and narcs, or whoever all these crazy ass people are, the really high level like Ricardo. When I say high level, I mean like just lost, just what the fuck, how can humanity get so twisted up? That's why I see when I see him, how can someone be just like that? How can someone be like that? But yeah, with that, there's a lot of facsimiles, there's a lot of copying and stuff like that, and I do think this is all to do with Slotham all the way through. This whole thing is Ricardo being pissed off at all that stuff, and the stuff with Darius and all this is now being poured into him trying to copy the Slotham model on me, thinking that he's got something similar, in the sense of like Darius was a kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. He was one of the first people to put his head above the parapet, and so therefore was a target in that sense, in some sense. But there's a lot of differences which I'll just quickly outline in a minute. But there's also, similarities in the sense that me being the only woman who's kicking off or standing up. So there's a little bit of interest that he's always going to garner from being attached to me. So he's trying to attach himself to me in that sense. Plus, it's a natural response for someone like Ricardo to do so, because as we know, he was already known as and ostracised as a massive creep who creeped out Destiny FOMO and all that stuff with Danny Dolphin and all the rest of it. I don't even remember what all that was, but I do know that he's a massive creep and is known for being such. And so what's happening here is you've got people like, if Evil does have any awareness, and that's what he's trying to put about at the moment, isn't he? He's a therapist and he knows better. So if he knows, and so does Tommy, because they're better and they're the creative people and all that, then they are knowingly feeding a known harasser of women, a known creep, and a known obsessive, someone who is maladjusted and known as such in the community. And these people who supposedly know better are encouraging him to do that, right? So there's that. So it's bad enough having to deal with like super creeps on the internet without people who I mean, if they're your mates or previous mates of yours, it's even more like another cherry on the cake, isn't it? But we take that to one side, just people who supposedly are in the know, and people who we're supposed to take their judgment on someone like myself or other people in this community while they're doing this. And then you look at Ricardo and you see what he's doing, and he's trying to attach himself to me just because I stick out like a sore thumb. It's the only way he's going to get any attention, and he does need that attention, and he needs it from me and Lewis and people like that, and that is just ridiculous. And that is where the difference is between the Slotham thing and Ricardo, because Slotham is very formulaic, and it's a set formula to try and bring someone down. Now, he was trying to get obviously Darius to respond and all the rest of it, and there was some attack in the first place, and it wasn't generated by Slotham, it was generated by a reaction to a fucked up bit of the community that was massive cultish megalomaniac. And obviously Slotham coming into it after a bit was just like, this is gold, you know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of fuck ups here, similar to my situation, but Ricardo's the one doing the attacking. He's then lying about it and just manufacturing the whole thing, and he's just trying to copy Slotham. He's just trying to copy Slotham, but whereas Slotham's like, I'm going to bring this guy, self-righteousness, do you know what I mean? He started on me and I'm going to bring him down because he's bad for the community. Where's Ricardo's? Is what I'm bad for the community for? Why? I've not even been here for days, so there's no need for that. I'm not trying to twist anyone's melon or do anything like that, like Darius could have been accused of doing in those days. I'm not even banning people from my channel or any of that. They're the ones banning people from my channel. So it's just they're trying to copy it because they see the success in that, and they're just cheap ass bastards, but they just can't do it. You can't hold a torch to it. It's not the same at all. The creativity is massively misdirected into a hateful place with Ricardo because they put their own investment of their own ego in there. It's like, for Ricardo, his own self-worth and everything is just dictated by YouTube and his channel. It's the only attention he gets, and you can see why. This is how he interacts with people. So there's a massive desperado difference there. And with Slotham, it's, for me, well, the way I see it, it's just art. It's just how he does it. He's putting his art out there, he's using those guys as inspiration, and he's just like trying to get other inspiration from the community at the same time. And it's just open and expansive versus just this going in on itself. And again, it just goes back to that fantasy world, that shared fantasy thing that they talk about, that Sam Vaknin talks about, where you just have to step into this thing, and you just don't get that at Slotham's. You don't get this, like, you have to subscribe to it, and then it's like, and then as soon as they see there's a chink in the armour, he jumps on it, and then he makes more of it, and push someone into a corner before they're like, oh, all right then. Like, it's not like that with Slotham. It's just there. That's what it is. That's his thing. Take it or leave it. And that attitude just makes all the difference. The lying and the crying and the desperation just stinks. And he stinks like a flapping fanny, and you guys are all getting that stink off you. And if you think it's in any way comparable to what Slotham's doing, you just don't get it. Well, I just listened back to that, and I realised that one of the things I said was about the Slotham thing. It was like, it's nothing like it. He doesn't push him into a corner and make him give up. No, he does do that, but that's the focus of his attention. With Ricardo, and it's like, it's creative, it's open and overt analogy and satire and stupidity and craziness. It's just a little bit of an encapsulation of what goes on over here and how people go off in a bit of a creative way, in my opinion. With Ricardo, it's just harping on me. Anyone else is a bonus who can drag along. When someone steps in because it's a smaller scale thing, that's the person who one finger, one thumb keeps moving. That's what I want to make that clear. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the focus of the person's attention, although I am the focus of Ricardo's attention, and I am the one supposedly he wants to copy it, push me into a corner, but it's not going to work because I don't react like Darius, and it didn't come into the same way as that happened. There is no self-righteousness from Ricardo's end, as you know, and that's why he's having to double down as he is right now, and he just shows himself, because as soon as the light is shone, all that darkness goes away, just the tiniest light, and that's where the fucking difference is, because Slotham is that light, and he was shining on the dark, and this is the dark in Ricardo's fucked up, man-loving way, trying to fight back for Darius from the dark. And again, it's just the tiniest light will just show that in all different colours. So that's going to be our enjoyment for the next few months, because there's plenty to work on, and I'm already downloading that shit right now for our enjoyment. How interesting. But yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that I was talking about the acolytes that they bring in, and then it's like you have to subscribe into it, you have to, and it is one finger, one thumb keeps moving. You've got all three of them twisting your melon, trying to get you thinking a certain way, trying to get the audience to think in a certain way. I think that's what it is. And using all this sort of elitist stuff, and not in the sense that Slotham uses it, or the sort of representation of some of this stuff, of the elite stuff. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their tier system and their cult, and I'm not even going to mention any names, but some of the obsessives in the chat, and the way it's just hammered home. And it's very different because it's call and response at Slothams, it's a laugh, it's commentary on things and a bit of news and current affairs and whatever, and a bit of fun poking at people, and it's all balanced. And then you've got this, and for me it's a haunted house versus just a sort of playground. And there's sharks in there, and they're all moving around, and there'll be a little comment put in by someone. I mean, they're all moving around at Slothams anyway, but you can see them because at least you're out of it there. But when you go in there, it's very different. You see how he operates Dorshin, and how Dorshin thinks he's operating them when he's not really. He's getting operated by them, really. I don't see much of it, and I haven't seen it for weeks, really. So what can I say? But that's how I was seeing it. I just wanted to make that little bit of a clarification, just because I know they'll come back at me and be like, "Meh." So I just thought I'd nip that one in the bud. So a bit later on, as you can see, it's raining now, which has put paid to my little gardening ideas for today. But even though I've come up with some reasons and things like that about Ricardo, this question still remains as to why. And that's just as a tool for understanding what makes these people tick. Because for me, I'm making this video, however many videos have I made and whatever, as a need against these very stacked attacks that are coming on exponentially as they get giddier and giddier. So I feel the need, obviously, to say something at this point, just for my own archiving purposes for later on, I suppose, even for punctuation purposes. And also, the worst move is no move, isn't it? But at the same time, what investment have they got in this? Why go back to this? Why am I in the vernacular? You know, I've not been around, I've not done anything or said anything at all. I've been on holiday. So I would, where's the investment for this? Where's any sort of drive now? When it came to trolling in the past with these guys, or anyone in this place, there's been a to and fro in, or there's been something. This is just one obsessive harping on a woman and really trying to give me a hiding to get me out of here because they're scared of me. And these two, knowing better, encouraging him to do so, using him because they know he's a creep. So the question is, why?